Well, I want to talk about morality today. There's an age-old debate since the beginning of time. Do you need God and religion to be a good moral person, or can you be an atheist? Do you not need a God at all to be a moral good person? I have always been fascinated by this debate, and I'm of two minds, which I'll tell you in a second. But let me first tell you the religious argument for God. The religious argument says, without a God, without a fear of God, without a fear of hell, without a fear of your own sin, you'll go down this rabbit hole of self-destructiveness and addiction and selfishness and all the 7 deadly sins, and you'll just be washed away in your own self-destructiveness. And you need a God to save you and to help you from going down that road. Atheism is completely different. It says you don't need a God. You don't need a God to be moral. There are 2 reasons for this. One, virtue is its own reward. As you just grow older and more mature, you become wise. You learn through experience that being virtuous is its own reward. It's easier to lead a good life. Goodness is happiness. Both wise atheists and wise Christians will agree with that. Being a good person is the way to be a happy person. The second reason why atheists will tell you you don't need a God is evolution. Societies adapt, and to adapt you have to cooperate. Societies have to have people cooperating. Cooperation requires morality. So morality is always evolving as societies adapt. That's the atheistic point of view. So my grandfather, who passed away in April of 2001 at the age of 85, was an atheist socialist. He was a very good person, very compassionate, very devoted to his ideology. He was a caring person. He was engaged with the world. He saw that life was more than just his own selfish desires, and I respected him on that. Now, I broke his heart because I never drank his socialist Kool-Aid. To me, socialism wouldn't be able to work because I saw people the way Christianity sees people. I see people as, for most of us, are just too greedy and too selfish for socialism to work. And here's the irony. People would have to be truly religious in the Christian sense for socialism to work, which is an irony that I don't think my grandfather wanted to talk about. So I was never able to drink his Kool-Aid because I always felt that socialism was a fantasy that couldn't exist in the real selfish, greedy world that we live in. So what about me? Do I need a God to be good and moral? After seeing my grandfather, who was an atheist. You know, I'm of 2 minds. I'm actually of 2 minds on that. I'm going to be honest with you. My default setting is selfish. My default setting is leave me alone. My default setting, when the phone rings, I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to get engaged. I'm a very self-involved person. I'm very prone to addictive behavior. I'm very prone to self-centered, narcissistic behavior. And for that reason, I could see how I personally would need a God and to be afraid of God in order to improve my morality. And I think 90% of us are like me. I think our default setting is selfish. I don't think we're evil. I mean, evil is probably 5% of us. Evil is, you steal and you hurt other people to get what you want. I don't think most of us are like that, but I think we're morally short because I think most of us were on that default setting to be selfish. Now here's what depresses me about myself. What if someone were to convince me that God didn't exist and that hell didn't exist? I worry about me. I don't know if I'm mature enough to be good without those fears. I'm scared that if someone were to prove to me that there is no God and there is no hell, that I would go down a rabbit hole of hedonism and debauchery and addictive behavior. I don't think I would be debauched in the grand sense of the word, but I think I would push the boundaries. I would see what I could get away with. And I might burn my house down in the process. I wonder if people like me need a certain amount of fear. I mean, I know there are people who are naturally mature and who probably don't need the fear, but I have to be honest with you, as depressing as it is, I don't think I'm one of them. On the other hand, things like hell are very difficult pills to swallow because, you know, hell represents a sort of unrelenting cruelty and sadism. And I don't know if I can accept that, and that's my dilemma. On one hand, I don't want there to be a hell with its implications of cruelty. On the other hand, I fear that without a hell, people like me, we're going to go down a rabbit hole of self-induced self-destructiveness. That's my dilemma. Does religion guarantee that we'll be good? Of course not. You know, my wife went to a Christian university in Seattle. I remember she told me about a conversation she had with her friend. There was some guy they didn't like who became the school president, and they said to each other, the guy was a jackass before he converted to his faith, and now that he's converted, he's still a jackass. You know, there are people like that, you know, the jackass, and they use different language, by the way, but I'm cleaning things up. About 10 years ago, I had a student. She was from Vietnam. She was a nursing student, a self-proclaimed atheist, and she said something I'll never forget. Her 4 brothers and sisters all moved to America with her, and they all became rich, and they were all Christians. Their mother back home got cancer. Only my atheist student went back home to care for her mother till she died, and she said it just enraged her that her Christian siblings wouldn't raise a finger to help the dying mother. And it does show that, you know, what you think you believe in, what you say you believe in, whether you're sincere or not, doesn't guarantee goodness or morality. And that student of mine, you know, I really respected her. There was a goodness in her and a character, a moral character in her, and she was atheist. And honestly, she's far better than I am. I have to make the depressing observation that I wonder if I personally need to fear a God and my own self-destructiveness and even hell in order to be good. I mean, I know it's depressing, but I'd rather make a truthful observation than remain delusional to be deluded on that matter. So as you can see, I'm of two minds, no easy answers. I didn't bloviate some easy formula for this theory or that theory. I just tried to tell you the truth as well as I can. And until next time, I am out.